Good evening, everyone, and I've got another time travel review for you today, but it's not a time travel movie. You missed that if you missed Looper, but we have Madagascar 3 here today, and this one I didn't actually see in the movies, so um, I'm doing one of these kind of movie review kind of format things, but I didn't actually see it in the movies. And the reason I didn't see it in the movies is because I've got the HSC, which is my big final exams in a week's time, and I really couldn't be bothered going to the movies when I've got that coming up, even though I'm not really studying much anyway. But that's beside the point. I didn't go to the movies to see this one, but I'm really glad that I didn't, to be honest. I can safely say that Madagascar 3 is DreamWorks' worst movie. When I say that, there are a few of their movies that I haven't seen in a while, e.g., Flushed Away I only saw last year. B movie I haven't seen in a while. The Shrek movies I haven't seen in a while, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty good. Or most of them anyway. Shrek 3 I think is okay. Um, yeah, B movie and Over the Hedge. Is that what it's called? Yeah, that's right. I think that's what it's called. But I recall them to having likable aspects to them. B movie, I'm not too sure about. I really need to watch that again. But from what I remember, this is the worst DreamWorks movie I've ever seen. Flushed Away comes at a close second from what I remember. Um, Actually, no, a close second. No, this is much worse than Flushed Away. To be honest, Flushed Away is great compared to this. Yeah. So Madagascar 3. I wasn't really I wasn't really anticipating this movie at all. It's got quite a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but it seems like people have a really low standard for the animated movies these days. Kids animated movies. People just seem to be like, oh, it's a distraction. I guess there's some funny moments. I guess it's all right. But all this really is. This movie is an ADHD fest. This movie is ADHD up the arse. Just fast pace as hell, colourful stuff, things popping in front of the camera. Everything's always moving. Everything's always the pace. Yeah, well, I already talked about the pace. And at the start of the movie, I kind of like it. I kind of like the kind of sense of humor that it has with the pacing. I guess it's when it kind of slows down a lot, and then slows down a lot and just has all these scenes when nothing really happens. I think that's when I really didn't like it, because if you're gonna start with a really really fast pace, don't just suddenly just slow down and do nothing for ages. Um, there's just so many pointless scenes in this movie, and the scenes that advance the plot in inverted commas, I just didn't care for, because they're just so rushed, and so not rushed as in animated rush or anything like that, just so rushed as in it, they just feel so rushed. This movie just drains out. It's only 80 excuse me. It's only 80 minutes long, and it does feel like a 2 hour long movie. It really does. There's nothing interesting in this movie at all. It's like a We're Back, a dinosaur story, if it didn't take itself seriously. If it's 80 minutes long and it doesn't have the nice animation, it has just 3D eye popping animation instead of the nice 2D animation that We're Back does have. And this movie is totally devoid of logic, doesn't take itself seriously at all. Actually, yes, it does. It does take itself seriously at parts. It's like the Ice Age 4 thing, where it doesn't take itself seriously for the most part, but then it's got its little character development session where it does. And is it just me, or is this character development stuff been coming since the first movie? I thought that the first movie already dealt with this character development kind of stuff. It's how the characters change, or maybe they saved it for this movie. But you can tell how the characters are going to change. I guess just like most of these animated movies, when the movie does deal with the dramatic elements, I actually like that. Even if they're cliche, I actually like that a lot better than the comedic elements that the movie has. And I mean, there are a few subplots that I found, kind of okay that were comedic, e.g., like the love story between the bear and the monkey guy. It was kind of funny in a way, even though it's like it's not, yeah, it's, I don't know, that was kind of funny. And there are a few funny little gags in this movie, like a few things which might give you a bit of a laugh, but for the most part, well, there's a lot of hit and miss humor, and there's a lot of Katy Perry's firework. There's a lot of repeated jokes, very reminiscent of Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots is better than this movie, by the way. It wasn't too much better though. There really is nothing to say. It's just it hits you so shallow. It's just like Ice Age 4. It's got, ironically, a romance between two cats. I don't know, that just seems like a bit of a coincidence, but whatever. A forced romance between two cats. The Ice Age 4 one was a little bit more forced, and the antagonist is completely unthreatening. There's a lot of like slapsticky humor, I guess, with the antagonists, and I just didn't care. I can't even explain. Some of these. I guess some of these things in this movie should be funny, but they're just not. Or maybe I'm giving this movie too much credit. Maybe it's just thinking that it should be funny when it's not at all. I don't know. This movie, I can't explain it. It's Madagascar 3, so let's see. It talks about being, okay, here's some of the fresh reviews, generally funny and gleefully entertaining, Oh, no. The characters are so simplistic that I don't care if they live or die. They're just very stereotypical and generic and dumb. It's like, I like this. Okay, the first Madagascar I thought was alright. Better than this at least. I thought it was a bit weak. But in hindsight, it's better than this. Yeah, when it first came out, I wasn't much of a fan, but it's better than this. The second Madagascar I watched on TV a couple of years ago, and I remember liking it, despite its obvious, cliches. But I feel like that movie took itself a bit more seriously than the first Madagascar and a lot of other these movies, including this one. And that's probably why I liked it. It wasn't so fast-paced and frisky and, excuse me, all that kind of crap. But to say that this is better than the first two, I definitely disagree. This movie, like, it's got less. The humor is just more slapsticky, more repeated of the same thing. And there's just a lot of frantic action that goes on that I don't give a shit about. And it's got terrible logic as well. And I'm not really into these comedies. These are kids' comedies where a lot of the jokes are about how dumb and nonsensical things are. I'm not really into that. It's just, I'm not into that type of humor. I'm not into the type of humor where all this frantic shit is happening. I just don't care for that kind of humor. It's like, ha ha ha, look how much crap is happening on screen, and look how retarded everything is. And you can tell the movie isn't taking it seriously. Like, I guess the way to make a good comedy is people in awkward situations but take it completely seriously, and you can tell this movie doesn't take itself seriously. It's just like, haha, we're a comedy, are you gonna laugh yet? So Madagascar 3. Where can I begin? Well, where can I end it, I guess? I can't even think about whether I like this more than Ice Age 4 or not. I can't even compare them. I think I liked Ice Age 4 more than I like this, to be honest. And I don't know why. But I'm gonna give Madagascar 3 a 4 out of 10. Ice Age 4, sorry, not Ice Age 3. Ice Age 3 was good. Ice Age 4, I gave a 5 out of 10. I don't really agree with that. So, but this movie I'd give like a 4 out of 10 or something like that. It's just frantic, nonsensical, not funny. Some of the gags have been repeated before. Some of them just don't make any sense, and that's meant to be funny. Some of them are kind of funny. There's kind of some interesting stuff in here, but it's just like when it's done, there's nothing memorable about it. It doesn't hit any notes or anything. And it feels like kids' movies are just getting worse and worse. 2012 has been a bad movie for kids' movies. Just throwing that out there. So far, what I've seen anyway. I haven't seen Hotel Transylvania, so that's not included, but just from what I've seen, Brave, Ice Age 4, and Madagascar 3, 2 of them got good ratings, 1 of them got bad ratings, but from those that I've seen, it's not been good. DreamWorks, I've been liking them for the most part. Puss in Boots I thought was okay, but I wasn't a huge fan, especially not as much as the other people on Rotten Tomatoes. And Kung Fu Panda 2 is actually a really good movie. I really like Kung Fu Panda 2 despite its hugely cliche plot. Mostly because of the fact that it does take itself seriously, and it's just, we don't see that in animated films. I mean, especially not these days. It's just everything has to be frantic, nonsensical, not take itself seriously. Look how look how fun we are. This movie is so fun. It was such a funny movie. It was such a fun movie to go to. Go there and have a laugh. Go there and have a ball. Go there and laugh at how it doesn't make sense. That's basically how it is these days. So I really hope that they do change this style around of these movies, or at least somehow improve it, because I I really do like the animated genre, because it can do just so much more than a lot of other genres can do, and to see it wasted on this kind of stuff is just disappointing. If they do make another Madagascar movie, I don't know about seeing it, but I think I was mainly not necessarily excited, but I was expecting something good because of the fact that it got 78% Rotten Tomatoes, and because of the fact that I liked the second one. I don't even know why I liked the second one, but I just did. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a good movie for TV. That's what I thought of the second one. But this one, not a fan at all. So not quite as bad as something like Battleship, but it will most definitely get in my top 10 worst movies I've seen of this year. But I guess no, I won't recommend this to kids. I don't recommend this to anyone. Go watch something else. That's what I have to say. Goodbye, everyone.